Uh, so many times we hear that with the people, like it's a like natural tendency of general people to say that, like, oh, our time is better than whatever the time used to be. Like they always says that. Uh, but that's not what I'm talking today about. What I'm saying is that about is the bhrashtachar, like corruption, and people generally has a tendency to say that, like, oh, time is very bad come, oh, today's time never came like this before, it's so bad, everybody is corrupt, like that. And I have one very good habit of reading the atmakatha, the sansmarana, uh, like read the people whole life story. That's a very good things to read, because one person live like 70, 80 years, and that one book that you read like 300, 400 pages, that can gives you the idea about the life of the one person who lives that 70 years of the life. Memoir, that's why I always love the memoir. So the I read a lot of memoir and autobiography, and I always found that from the old time there is always corruption. And most of the autobiography or the memoir I read is about the India. So there was like that Indian lot of corruption and all the time. Like one time I was reading Swami Anand's Himalaya Pravas, and that time he was describing something. He live in South Gujarat, and he was describing this one unique community there. That's a very, I know that community because they call the Desai community, the Nayak community, a local way they call Bhatla. They are the very smart people, and I know them very personally. So he was talking about like beginning of end of the 19th century, and that he says that like most of them are the station master at that time. Like there's something unique happen, and it happened that some community, like if some people go there, everybody like that everybody become, because in our time when we studied around 1980 and 90, most of our teachers are the Bhatla, this Desai and Vashi and the Nayak, and they are the that time, like they have a wadi, wadi for the chiku and amba in their home. So like it is not the daily kheti, and for that one they have a labor at home. So they generally have nothing to do it the whole day, so they generally become the teacher. So this is I'm talking about around 70s, 80s, 90s. This guy talking about before that, beginning of 20th century or the end of the 19th century. So he says that there's a lot of desized people in a railway, and that time he was talking about some railway masters courage against the corruption that is going on in a railway. So this is a railway that is just came in India, like from the Britishers, like in the beginning of the 19th 20th century. And he was talking about people are stealing the money, the commodities from the railway and all these things. And when I was reading that, like people say, oh, people are so chore, Lalu Prasad Yadav kha gaya, itna kha gaya. Yeah, maybe he eat more, but because there is a devaluation of the currency also more. So of course there's like nobody knows that. Like there was a corruption. Same thing, like where there was a plastic no youth who are like when there was a plastic youth with the British and the Nawab of the Bengal, the guy switched the side, and we have always one big example about the Jai Chand. We always say is about the Jai Chand, like about any Gaddar. So like we have a lot of example of the Gaddar and Bhrastajari in our history. Wherever you find, everywhere, it is nothing like current concept. It is always the old concept of India. Our peoples are always Bhrastajari. There is nothing new. Just accept that. Just try to just think that how to remove that. Don't accept like Indira Gandhi says that, oh, it's a universal. Yes, maybe universal, but you have to do something. Like I says that, the best thing is to like the any of government officer who has a maximum number of the transfer as a penalty is count as a honest person. So we need to like make a list of the all government officers, they have a transfer, and we can make a list and publish them like twice a year or three times a year, and that's why people knows that which officer also is very honest. And then whenever he got any letter from the transfer, again we can demonstrate again outside his office, and that's why we can pressure on his boss or government. So that's why we can like control this kind of the corruption. We have to take care of this one. We have to make the booklet about the corruption according to the each and every position in a government, and then we have to distribute that outside that government office, because was always corruption. Like I was watching the Devdas. You know the Devdas movie that's very famous. Like Dilip Kumar one time play and one time this great Shah Rukh Khan play. In that one, he has a friend called Chuni Lal, and Chuni Lal went to make his suit, and that time like he was making his karki out of that thing, like the suit was like 50 rupees or something like that. He say okay, make the bill for the 60 40 rupees or whatever it is for the 60 rupees, and he took out 5 or 10 rupees. So like there's always people like that in uh, our community, in our society. So Bhrashtachaar is always there. There is nothing new. It's always there. Like one, I think our Gujarati Lekak was Chandrakant Sheth. He wrote the book like Gataria. He also regarding the railway, and he grew up in a railway colony because his father was in a railway, and he saw all the Bhrashtachaar in front of his eyes, and he says everything about that things. So plus in the youth, oh, the most thing is that like in a later part of the Maratha, when they used to fight with the Mughal, like later part, what happened is that like when they fighting with each other, and like they teach us in a our itihas, something like that, Marathas are for the Hindu and Mughals are for the Muslim and all this shit. But that is not shit. That has nothing to do with the religion, because when Marathas and the Mughals are fighting in the later part after I think Shivaji died, and like there was a like Peshwa came, and then a lot of other Sardar came. They are doing sandhi with each other by exchanging the money. The same thing with the Nizam, like because that time in the south there was a lot of players. Like one side there was a Nizam, one side there is a Maratha, one side Mughal. So like they are playing with each other, and then they bribe each other in the terms of the money, not to fight with them. So like let's say Nizam give the money to the Maratha, they accept not to fight against the Nizam, and they need to like become neutral in the fight, or like they have to give them some maybe 10,000 soldier or whatever it is. So like they are actually making soda. They अपने सैनिक का सोडा करके बेचते थे, like उनके लाइफ की कोई कीमत नहीं थी. तो ये लोग ऐसे ही चलता रहता. Like basically in today's language we can say that this just change, nothing changes to the party. Like today they made the party like Shiv Sena party, or this Akhilesh party, or Lalu Prasad Yadav's party, and then they making soda, and then in the soda then they're sending their karyakarta to work for them, and their idiots work for them too. So this is like this is I'm talking about 200 300 years ago, like that times. And then eventually they took the money from the British and then sold out our country, whole country. They sold out. They have nothing to do with the Desh Bhakti or anything. So we have always the Bhrashtachaar. There is nothing like uh, it is money is always there. And in a train business, in a railway, uh, there is always Bhrashtachaar. That's all I want to say.